very warm welcome to Blitzkrieg, our own strategic affairs show. You know, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan made a huge hue and cry about 5th of August. They said that the rights of Kashmiris were being trampled upon, and we will take this fight to the world. We will create Twitter storms. We will go all out across embassies and high commissions throughout the world, Indian high commissions and embassies, and protest outside. But what really happened was a damp squib as far as Pakistan is concerned, and this is the topic of our discussion and debate today. I have with me Sushant Sareen representing India. He's a senior fellow of the Observer Research Foundation. He's live from Delhi. And I also have with me Qamar Cheema, who's a strategic analyst who joins us live from Islamabad. Sushant Sareen, a very warm welcome, and Qamar Cheema, a very warm welcome. My first question is to Sushant. Sushant, what happened? Lots of plans made. Lots of plans made by Pakistan. You know, we'll do this, we'll do that. And of course, what we are going to do is protest outside every embassy, every high commission. There'll be a Twitter storm, and we'll shake the conscience of the world. You know all the words that they use, the Pakistanis. But in the end, it all fell flat. Damn squib. And all I heard was Sheikh Rashid saying, let's stand for 1 minute and protest against Indian occupation of Kashmir. How do you see that, Sushant Sareen?
But Gaurav, even Sheikh wasn't clear whether he wanted to stand in silence for 1 minute or blow the horn for 1 minute, which they had put out there on some of the squares. But the thing is, you know, how does a country without any conscience talk about the world's conscience? The treatment which they mete out to their own people, the fact that this is a country which is actually involved in invading a neighboring country, the fact that this is a country which whose Islam is very fungible, because when it comes to China, these people keep quiet and they pretend nothing is happening. So their own interests override their so-called obsession with Islam. But aside of all of that, I think why it has also turned out to be a damn squib is that unlike, you know, the kind of hysterics which the Pakistanis indulged in, where some of these despicable diplomats which they sent to India, Ashraf Jahangir Qazis, etc., who were predicting genocide and I don't know, rivers of blood flowing, nothing of the sort happened. So all the lies and the litany of lies that the Pakistanis tried to sell to the rest of the world all fell flat. Even at the time of August 5, the world was basically telling us two things. And many of those things, Gaurav, you and I have been in meetings where we've agreed with it. That the communication lockdown was extended beyond a certain time. That should not have been done. And the sooner the political process has been brought back online, it would have been better. Other than that, there was no third thing that the world was even asking of us. It was an internal decision which we had taken. So all that the Pakistanis were doing was this normal hysterics, this breast beating which they do. And it was going to fall flat, particularly because the world moved on. And the Pakistani involvement, for example, in the cataclysmic things which are happening in Afghanistan, with what, what is the bona fides of Pakistan to talk about anything after that?
Absolutely, Sushant. Absolutely agree. And now I'll very quickly go to Qamar Cheema. You know, Qamar Cheema, there are certain points that Sushant made. And, I also want to ask you a question. And my question to you is, I often see on Pakistani television saying that there is a lockdown in Kashmir. They say there is a mobile blackout in Kashmir. I don't know where you guys get your facts from, because I have been to Kashmir so many times after 370 and 35A, were removed, and there is perfect 4G there. It was there for some time. Yes, for an extended period, like Sushant very rightly said. We had shut down telephone lines, we had shut down mobile phones, we had shut down the internet. But now everything for more than a year or so, I think approximately, everything is working perfectly. Hotel rooms are hard to get. Hotel rooms are so expensive that they're more expensive than Delhi. Whether you go to Srinagar, you go to Gulmarg, prohibitively expensive. Tourists are flocking. Where do you get your data from, Qamar Cheema, that, everything is bad and all? I mean, how can you say this about a place that you have never visited in your life?
ISI run Kashmir Media Service.
Sir, in your life, you never visit every place all the time. There are places you have not visited, but you speak. But Kashmir is very close to our heart, and we monitor Kashmir 24/7. What you say doesn't matter, sir. Nobody will trust you because you are saying you are representing your country. Let the foreign media go there. Let the foreign missions go there. Let people move there independently and they will come to the conclusion. Why you have to justify to the Pakistanis or to the Indians or to the international community that things are normal? Let the world say when things will be normal, the world will say things are normal. The point is that you say it's all normal. People of Kashmir are enjoying the life they should enjoy. Yes, they must enjoy, and we will be happy to have that. When people do not have a basic fundamental freedom, when they don't have a democratic freedom, when they are not represented by their representative at this moment, when the federal government, when the central government is directly micromanaging Kashmir, and you are talking there is all freedom. I don't know that if India has described a new freedom rules or India has come up with the new values for the Kashmir alone and for the rest of India alone. Right. So I can understand.
Absolutely.
I can understand you have a problem.
You're
but
absolutely
let
right, Qamar Cheema.
Say itself, themselves,
yes.
And let you stop saying that.
Absolutely. Understood, Qamar Cheema, understood. You know, I absolutely agree with you, but you know, when you talk about democracy, Pakistan speaking about democracy, that's rich. You, a country that has lived half of its existence under the military boot, you would like to lecture the world on democracy, that's rich, right? You claim that Pakistan is your jugular vein, your Shahrag. Entire Pakistan is obsessed with Kashmir, Kashmir and Kashmir alone, yet nobody's been there. That's rich. And number three, you think that India is looking for a certificate from the world? You think India begs in front of the world? You think India really cares what the Washington Times or the Washington Post or the New York Times writes about us and what the UN thinks? No, we don't. We're just telling you, and this is not a debate, we're not justifying to any Pakistani, least of all you. We're just saying that things are normal and your entire effort for the 5th of August has fallen flat on its face because nobody cares. Even Pakistanis don't care. Forget about Kashmiris, forget about Europeans or Americans. Even Pakistanis don't care. Very quickly, one word from you, 1 minute from you, Sushant Sareen. You see this whole obsession. How can you be obsessed with a place which you have never visited? That entire country has never visited Kashmir. How are they obsessed with Kashmir so much? ये कैसा obsession है?
This is a mental disorder, but you know, this obsession is only for public consumption. Gaurav, how many of these people actually maintained that 1 minute of silence? How many of these guys, that their prime minister, selected prime minister, who had this half an hour every Friday, we will stand outside our offices. He himself didn't stand outside his office. And for these guys to talk about democracy when Pinky Pirni does some istikara and takes out a name, and on some basis of mumbo jumbo, these fellows elect a person whom nobody knows about in POJK. How does that work? That is not micromanagement. That is not a deputy secretary ordering the so-called prime minister and president of that place. What are these guys talking about? What world do they live in? But look, if you look at the television channels and these retired generals which they keep trotting around, and you look at what nonsense they spout, whether it's on America that Biden is scared of Imran Khan, if this is the alternate reality they live in, how can anybody have any sensible conversation with them? Yeah?
Sure. Sure. Okay, Sushant. Now, very quickly, Qamar Cheema, 1 minute to you. I'd like to understand from you, Qamar, where has Pakistan's foreign policy failed? Because clearly it has failed. You say India is wrong. Let us hypothetically and for the case of academic debate, accept for a minute that India is wrong. Let's say Pakistan is right. I grant you that on this show. Now tell me, where has Pakistan's foreign policy failed? Because even your fellow Islamic countries are saying, listen, we are not interested in Kashmir. Stop spouting the same nonsense again and again. We don't want nothing to do with Kashmir. We don't have anything to do with Kashmir. You have not been able to convince Malaysia. Turkey has kept quiet about Kashmir. Iran is saying nothing. Indonesia is silent. The alternate Islamic bloc that you wanted to make. Where has Pakistan foreign policy faltered? Because I think Shah Mahmood Qureshi is not interested in foreign policy. I think he wants the Punjab CM's job. He's not interested. वो तो मुल्तान में बाल काट रहे हैं लोगों के. He's not interested in foreign policy. Now, please tell me, Qamar Cheema, where has Pakistan's foreign policy failed?
Well, Major Sahib, I would say that there is a success and there is a failure. The success is that Pakistan only is following the diplomatic, political, and morally the Kashmir issue, and there is no military solution. So when we go for the diplomatic, political, and moral, and we go with the rules-based order the international community has crafted for the international society, and we are following and we are asking the global community to let's honor the commitments which they have done in the UN Security Council or the commitments which have been in the UN. Let's honor those. So this is where we are asking the world. So we have limitations. Every country has a limitation. So our failure is there. We should have evolved our position on Kashmir. So because of the absence of the domestic, the democracy in the country, because of the absence of the political consensus, and because of not understanding that how the Muslim world or the West is evolving over the period of time, or the position on the issues related to the Muslim world are evolving, we couldn't understand. At the same time, the rising global clout of India is also where we need to understand that how the limitations of the international community are when it comes to the Kashmir dispute. So I think this is where we should have realized it much earlier. The best of the times was the Musharraf era, where we could have gone things right.
So the best of the time that you had was Musharraf era, who was, of course, he had thrown out elected prime minister for 10 years, 11 years. Very typical. Now, you know what? Your entire explanation for the failure of Pakistan's foreign policy is like shandy. I don't know if you know, Kamar, what shandy is. It's when you mix beer with, lemon or lime water. It's neither lime water nor is it beer. It's shandy. I mean, it does not make sense to me. What you're saying does not make sense to me. Sushant, can you please expand? Because I haven't understood, yeah? He's talking about a rules-based order, which is fine. And then he talks about the Muslim world. Is there a Christian world or a Hindu world or a Muslim world or a Buddhist world? Why this obsession with the Muslim world? Because clearly the so-called Muslim world has ditched Pakistan for good.
Yeah, look, it's a very lengthy explanation, and I think you need a whole day for me to explain this obsession with the Muslim world. Suffice to say that, that is partly the search for identity, partly a search for some kind of a role in the world. Otherwise, Pakistan gets identified as not India. So they have tried to, flog this Muslim identity. But when they go to Muslim countries, they are treated like dirt, like miskeens. I don't want to get into that debate. But I want to challenge Mr. Cheema on one thing. It's very disingenuous of him to say that we follow the rules-based order. We were only giving moral, political, diplomatic support. Gaurav, they tried whatever they could in Jammu and Kashmir. They've tried war, they've tried proxy war, they've tried terrorism, they've tried everything possible. None of which was under any rules of normal civilized behavior. They have beheaded people, they have carried out massacres out there, they have done terrorism out there. They've done every damn thing they could do. It all failed. It was like Yasin Malik, the terrorist who went like a coward and shot officers in the back and now pretends to be a Gandhian, and good he's cooling his heels in the jail. It is like that what these people are doing. जब सब जगह से इनको हार हो गई तो अब आ गए कि we are on the morally, diplomatic and political support. That's utter nonsense. It's anybody who buys that nonsense from Pakistan is living in a delusion of his own. It is like we are only giving, we are staying neutral in Afghanistan. All the stuff is going from Pakistan to Afghanistan. The Taliban are based in Pakistan. Everything is happening from Pakistan, and they still maintain this fiction. The same fiction they tried in Kashmir, it failed. So now, it's that desperation that now you are taking recourse to a moral position which you never really bothered about.
Sure. Okay, so Sushant, now let me go to Kamar Cheema. Kamar Cheema, you know what's happened with the Taliban, etc. Today I tweeted also, and I think today or yesterday I tweeted that, all these planes that are taking off and they're bombing Afghanistan, Afghan Taliban positions, where are they taking off from and where are they landing? Which country's airspace are they using? And Pakistanis were correctly miffed because now slowly Pakistani media has started to ask the same question. Zafar Halali, your former foreign service officer, senior foreign service officer, and a declared hawk, also asked the same question in the muted part of his statement. He said that where are these planes taking off from? And he said they're either taking off from Pakistan, landing in Pakistan, or using Pakistani airspace. However, that is not my question today. My question to you, Kamar Cheema, is simple. What happened on the 5th of August? Why did your toolkit fail? Because there were a lot of preparations, we shake the conscience of the world. We'll go outside Indian embassies and high commissions and we'll force the world to take notice and we'll do this and that, and nothing happened. Why did anything happen? Why did nothing happen, Qamar Cheema?
I think this is a very wonderful question, and only I think the civilized people can understand that how, when there is a disputed territory, and when the people are not having the fundamental rights, and when people are facing the worst humanitarian crisis, and when the people are under the rule of the central government, then that is not a democracy. That is a sham democracy. That is as if you are living in a cuckoo's land. The problem here is our job is to raise, or our job is to shake the conscience of the international community. Our job is not to throw stones. Our job is not to go with our military designs to tell the world what we are going to do. So every civilized world, we are shaking the world. We are trying to tell them the situation, and the world have realized. When New York Times published the entire page of the Kashmiri children on the page, that is our success. What else we need? When Blinken was in India, what did he say?
Okay.
He said that we have two concerns about India. About the freedom of expression, freedom of media, and religious
Qamar
freedom.
Cheema, I'll have to take a short break.
So what else we need when
I'm
your partners are lambasting
going to have to take a very short break, Qamar Cheema. I'll come back to you. Okay, sure. Qamar Cheema, I have to take a short break. I'll come back to you. We don't care about the New York Times. We don't care about Blinken. All right? And we are a confident nation. We don't care what these foreign people write in their articles. It doesn't matter to us. I don't read the New York Times, by the way. We'll take a very short break. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We'll be right back on Blitzkrieg.